the benefit of being in a flow state is you're completely out of ego. You're out of thoughts, right? Not totally out of thought, but you're not spinning.
But there is something about that unexpectedness, you know, and you're just like, I want to run with this.
Hi, I'm Emma.
And I'm Lisa.
And this is There Are No Tangents.
Feels like I seen this all in a dream. What's the purpose of a human being? Never mind me. I'm just lost in my thoughts. What's the topic? Ain't no topic. Keep it going, no stopping. Don't get the picture, then we crop it. With no emotion, what's the line? We just lost in our thoughts. Not on the surface, beyond that. Pull back the curtains, I'm on that. Once we take it there, ain't no going back. Don't be losing the topic, man. We gotta stay on track. Yeah, you so crazy, yeah, I know it. Tell me a story, like a poet. Yeah, like a poet. We getting lost in our thoughts. Welcome to the show. Emma and Lisa.
Hi.
Hi. You are a sight for sore eyes.
I know, but I have a little agreed. Same to you. You are a sight for sore eyes. I was going to say, if my nose looks red, maybe it doesn't on here. I have not been hoovering schneef. I'm just still dealing with my sinus infection, and I've been blowing my nose a lot, so my nose is red.
Wow. That's
Or
lingered
if
for a
I'm
while.
doing this, it's not. Or if it just starts bleeding. It's literally just
because of the sinus.
of my sinuses. It's fine. I promise.
No, allergies are in full effect here, and I've got the red nose and a little nasaliness. So
yeah,
it's all good.
Hi. I'm so happy to see you.
I know it. This is the first time we've seen each other in like 3 weeks, maybe.
Oh my God. Probably 3.5.
Oh my gosh.
I'm trying to do math. Yeah, it's closer to 4 weeks. This weekend will have been 4 weeks, right? I think so.
Might be. Yeah, I don't like it, but this is great. So,
yeah, it is great. That made me sad. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I just can't believe it's passed by that quickly. I've had 2 phases of life already, just like in the last month. So crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Quite a few different things. You want to share with everyone how it's been, what's been going on with you, Lisa, Lou?
It's been a bit hellacious in a way, great, and I'm happy to be here. But I don't thrive in an unsettled environment.
Yeah, turbulent.
So yes, I was thinking of job postings would be thrive in a hectic, fast-paced environment. That I'm okay with. When my house is absolute chaos and there are boxes and piles and stuff everywhere, I don't do well. Yeah. And so I just I need for things to have a home.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that's what I've been doing for 3 weeks, basically. And it's finally at a good point, except for the huge boxes that I have now, because I had furniture delivered and we haven't been able to get rid of the boxes. So my kitchen is just walk around this giant pile of boxes.
Yes. Yeah.
But it feels good now. And we're starting to figure out just kind of the rhythm, I guess, that
right.
life will take, at least for the next little bit until the kids get out of school,
I know. And then we've talked about that before on some episode, just like those shifting gears. I guess that was maybe our first shifting gears that we did.
Yeah, that's true.
Talking about those rhythms and the school year and all that kind of stuff. I'm sorry if I seem a little squirt. I'm realizing I want to pull my feet up. Oh God, sorry.
Was it a cat?
I think I touched on some. Oh my gosh, my hands are so sweaty. I want to tell you just really quickly. I'm going to just pull my feet up in this chair real quick because yesterday, I think I know I texted you this, but just for everyone listening, Um, raise your hand if you are afraid of spiders. Okay. Well, here's the thing. I'm really not that terrified. I know some people who are like absolutely terrified of spiders.
Yeah.
And I don't like them. Don't get me wrong. If there's like on me, I'm going to freak the flip out. But, in general, I'm like, okay, and I can take care of them. Not like a caregiver, but like I can smash them or put them outside, depending on the spider and the situation. Well, yesterday, I went into our laundry room to put my daughter's backpack away, and there was the biggest fucking spider I've ever seen in my house. I'm shivering right now thinking about it.
Did it have colors and patterns?
Oh God. I don't think so, but I couldn't like look at it very much. I was kind of like this. I took a picture like that. And then even now, when I go back to look, like I had to pull up that picture. Because we're going to talk about, some stuff. Obviously, we're going to talk about some stuff. What do you think? How's that sound?
Shocker.
Let's do that on a podcast. But anyway, I pulled that up and I saw it, and I like got the heat wave through my body.
Oh yeah.
Like, just I want. Okay. Anyway, I was like, oh my God. Okay, you can do this. You can do this. And I'm just here, with the kids. And I was like, all right, how do I get this thing? And so I think I made a poor choice of which shoe to use, because my daughter's cleat was right there. And I thought, oh, I'm going to use the cleat because that will stab this motherfucker. And no, I'm pretty sure it just like ran through the cleat.
Ooh, yeah.
I should have gone with a flat surface. So word to the wise, grab the flat surface shoe.
Yeah.
But anyway, and then it runs toward me and I'm like screaming bloody murder. Like, and it's one of those things where I was screaming and I didn't know that voice was coming from me. You know what I mean? I was like, who's screaming? Like, I'm like, oh, it's me. But then it like ran under my dryer and I was like, oh my God. And there were people at our house because where we had all those windstorms, and our fence blew down.
Yeah.
And so they came, the adjusters had just come and they were like taking pictures out back for insurance and all that. And I start screaming, the kids start screaming. And then they come back to the door. They're like, we heard screaming. Are you okay? And I was like, there is a big spider in my house. And I like spill it all. And there's two guys. And one of the guys was like, you want me to come in and kill it? You want me to come in and look for it? And I was like, yes, please. And so I was like, it's under the dryer. I don't think you're going to find it. He's like, well, let's just look around, and he's doing his thing. And he was like, I can't find it. He was like, I'm pretty sure it went outside. And I was like, and he kind of,
no, it did not.
I know. And I was like, thanks for the vote of confidence.
That's the kind of shit you tell your kids to get them to calm down.
Well, I was a child in this scenario, or at least felt like one. And so he did the proper thing. But anyway, oh man, it was terrifying. So that was a long ass story to tell you. I got to pick my feet up off the ground because I'm not going to risk this motherfucker. Sorry, I keep saying that. I'm just like bleep, bleep, bleep. Sorry. Explicit rating on this episode.
Yeah, that's right. Explicit.
Anyway, but yeah, so all right. Yeah, all the rhythms shifting and all the things. But I did, I'm thankful. And I know some listeners have already seen it as well. For those who follow us on Instagram and check our stories, which if you don't do that, like what's up with that? You know what I'm saying? But
yeah. There are plenty of stories to stay abreast of.
Yes. I love to stay abreast of the situation. But yeah, you got my room ready.
Yep.
It was lovely. Made a beautiful reel. And I'm excited. And we do have a date on the calendar.
Correct.
I'm coming to visit you. It's a little too far away for my taste, but also it builds anticipation. And I just love that.
Oh, I know. Like, I'm telling you that tension.
Absolutely. It's
cannot wait. I know. I was thinking this morning, so I get these like daily, like what's happening in Asheville this weekend or this week, sort of thing. And I was like, oh, I can't wait for when the time comes. Like, for example, this Sunday, there's like a yoga on the roof at Highland Brewing and you pay $20 and you get a free beer, like whatever. So there's like,
you get yoga class and a free beer.
Oh, that's right. So we'll have some things to look forward to.
Oh, I'm so excited. Ah, it's such a great town. But anyway, Yeah. So anything else with that, or what's on your mind? I know you had some stuff you were thinking of.
Yeah, I did. Well, so first of all, speaking of emails, this
Yeah.
morning, so first of all, I get up and I do I have my moments of reflection and gratitude. And this morning I was just thinking about, like, it's the last day of March. And I can't believe, it's been basically almost a whole month since I moved. And, what am I grateful for this month? It's been like a long month, but a short month. And so I spent some time with that, particularly around just moving and getting settled and, that sort of thing. And then I checked my email, and I receive a poem of the day it is from poets.org. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
And today's poem, or actually it was yesterday's, I just didn't see it yet. It's called On Moving. And, of course, I love those synchronicities.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna read it. Is that okay?
Yes, I'd love
I don't know what we're gonna do with this, but here we are. Okay. On Moving by Jane Huffman. Like butter, gone. I'm moving on because it would be ludicrous to stay. It feels like a return to sanity, although I've never been. I've never lived a mile west of Illinois. Quote, I come home from the soaring, Rilke wrote in The Inner Sky, which I take as imperative, omit the I. To ground, return to earth, to grind the fable of my life down like orpiment into a yellow ash and tie my body to the floor. Rilke writes of God still roaring in my ears, but God for me today is fear. Goodbye to my deteriorating house. Delirium, I'm out the door. Stasis is a sieve through which I drag myself. Literature feels far away, black bulls grazing beyond a pale hill. Oh, there was a lot there for me this morning. Especially stasis is a sieve.
That's
through
exactly
which I drag myself.
That line stood out to me, as well as what was the one about the fear? There was something about.
Oh yeah, today, God for me today, but God for me today is fear.
Well, yeah, that hit one. That hit too. Okay, go ahead.
So, well, quickly, because you might appreciate this as well. So the quote this is Rainer Maria Rilke, that she's quoting. I come home from the soaring in which I lost myself. I was song, and the refrain, which is God, is still roaring in my ears.
Yeah.
So that's what she's referencing. And that to me is also quite powerful, but the sieve. And so, there's so much there. It gave me an opportunity to reflect on the past few weeks trying to get settled. So the opposite of stasis, obviously, but the sieve, like dragging myself, that's kind of how I felt in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Because as I said,
Mm-hmm.
I have been a bit in survival mode, trying to get sorted out, just literally with the house. Like everything else is great, but just home, Oh, interestingly, asterisk astrology reference. I knew that this year was supposed to be big for me, like in my fourth house. Fourth house is like home and family.
Oh, okay.
Kind of thing. And so like last year, before we knew we were moving, or around the time we were figuring it out, like I was reading, like this year, there's a big something happening with home,
Wow.
And anyway, and now we're in that transit. And so like, that's been very present for me. And fourth house is really big in my chart in general. I have a lot of stuff in the fourth house. Okay. Again, home. And I think home is important to pretty much everyone, but like space specifically, and establishing what that feels like for me, you know, is a big deal, like everywhere, all the time. Even if I'm traveling, like that's really the energy of the space is really important for me.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. So, that was my little side note.
Yeah. Okay. I gotcha. I'm with you.
To bring up astrology.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like feeling like I'm barely treading water, like I'm hours and hours a day, like working to try to get stuff sorted and put away. And still I'm left with all of this stuff and I don't know where it should go. And like, I don't have a place to put this stuff. I don't need it anymore. So it's also like a purging, you know, which I had already done before we moved. And there's still like more, like, what
Right.
can I let go of and feel joyful about it, you know? So there's been that. But also, even though it has been like barely making it, it feels like at times, I also absolutely love this process. Love it. And I want to be in that space of like, this is all opportunity. And it's all, I mean, a creative opportunity for one thing. And that's a big deal for me. Right.
Yeah.
And establish it. Like what's the energy? Like, what do I want it to feel like? What does it feel like? And, you know, it's just like, it's really big.
Yeah.
But so it's like this weird dichotomy of being so happy and like, this is something that I really love to do, but also I'm so stressed out and I'm so overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I've been thinking about the last couple of days is, as again, I've kind of reflected on this whole process, is flow and being in a state of flow, which is what this sort of opportunity really allows for me.
Yeah.
And it's like addictive, you know?
Right. Oh, absolutely. It's like, it is kind of just like an influx of like dopamine, you know, which is very addictive.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's how it feels. And so, and then anytime I'm pulled out of that and have to stop, anytime I'm disrupted, I'm like, it makes me angry because I'm like, I was so happy and I was like in the zone and like all of these things were coming together. And then like, zoop, you know, something happens to pull me out. And I'm like, stop it. I don't want to. Like, don't make me, you know?
That's so, and you know, and I'll say super fast and then I want you to continue, but like, isn't it funny? Cause, you talked a little bit about this in our pet peeves episode is what just came to me about being pulled out of your state and that just being so frustrating. And at the time when, you know, I'm going to Enneagram, of course, but we thought you were a 9 and it was just whatever. But now that I'm like viewing it through the other lens, I'm like, okay, 6 reactivity as well as that 1 fix. Like there is an irritant in my tide pool and I want to I need to fix this and I want it to go away because it's irritating me. Actually, as a matter of fact, I don't want to fix it. I want you to fix it. Then I'll feel better. Like, and I relate as a 6-1 stem to that idea. So anyway, it's just funny because I was just thinking back, wow, she said something similar to this in the pet peeves, but we weren't, you know, at least I was processing it differently. Right.
Sure. So, yeah. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Which is really interesting to think about, just like how these themes can show up for people.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing, but different reasons, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely. That's right.
Yeah. So, and like a flow is just amazing. And I mean, also maybe if we talk about this, through like from a head type perspective, I don't know, like you see what happens with this, but I think it can be really hard. So like the benefit of being in a flow state is you're completely out of ego. You're out of thoughts, right? Not totally out of thought, but you're not spinning
Right.
It's not ego. You're just like immersed in the creative process.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And I wonder if that's kind of part of it. Like it's kind of hard to get to that state sometimes, or a lot of
Yes.
times, really. And so when
Absolutely.
you're in it, it's like, this is good. This is so good.
Yes, absolutely. And it's kind of like when you said it's hard to get to, it's hard to make it happen. It's almost like when we've talked about gratitude before. You can't, I mean, you can choose to focus and focus your attention on gratitude. And I do believe you can feel it to an extent, but there is something about that unexpectedness, you know, and you're just like, I want to run with this. And I've even
Right.
talked about this before on, that interview that I did with Josh on that podcast. And, I mean, I didn't say it explicitly and I didn't call it flow, but that's what I was kind of getting to. Speaking of head types, right? Like that's sort of what I was pointing to when I was like, um, you know, sometimes I feel like, I need to be here in my real life and maybe be a little more present as a mom. But when I wake up and if I'm feeling very inspired and very creative and I'm having all of this influx, it's not a rumination. It's not a worry. It's not, I have to get this done. It's like, I just feel very inspired and motivated. And so my attention wants to go there. My energy wants to go there. And when it's like, nope, sorry, you actually need to pack lunches. Sorry, nope. Your kid needs you to tie his shoe. Or I'm like, so,
Yes.
and I think that can be construed when I'm not in a flow state. And if that were to happen, I feel like that's one thing, right?
Yes.
That's like, okay, what's up? But like, anyway, I feel like I'm talking too much.
No.
But yeah. I relate to what you're saying there.
Yeah, no. I mean, do you have any other thoughts around that? Like how it plays out for you? Maybe if we assign positive and negative on the positive side, like what's your experience? Like, what does it feel like for you?
In a flow state, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, it's really hard. I haven't thought of, I'm like, it's going to come to me in real time here. And I don't know that I'm going to have like the exact right words, in this moment, but like, cause I have to kind of like put myself in that
Sure.
feeling, motivation, excitement, confidence, focus, just like a very focused, and you know what else I'm thinking of? Okay. It's like ding, 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 ding on my brain, but like, when we were talking with Tiffany and we were talking about, neurodiversity and ADHD, and I have heard that people who do have ADHD, I've heard them talk about this idea of just like, feeling like a lot of times, like I can't quite get it together and it's all fuzzy and but when that hits, I can also be super, super focused.
Yes.
And so now I'm going like, is when they get into that state, like when, somebody with ADHD kind of gets into that, like I'm hyper focused, I'm getting all these things done. Can you liken that to a flow state?
Yeah.
Or is it different? Like I have no idea.
Yeah, that's a good question. And so interestingly, when I was seeing the therapist who very, very, very strongly thought that I have ADHD, she would talk about having clients who would describe like that feeling of anger, specifically anger.
Oh, well, there you go.
Because I mean, so this is very like ADHD. Like, I don't know. This feels like a lot of like kind of connections, but yeah, like
yeah,
concentrating, fully immersed, fully engaged, and then something happens, and it's like, fuck. Yes. Like I was there, and it was all coming together, and like, what if I can't get it back?
Yes,
it doesn't. And it's like, like I'm having all of these thoughts and then they're going to be gone. I'm not going
Yes.
to have them anymore. Not like ruminating thoughts, but like ideas, you know?
Yes. That's literally almost verbatim what I said in that interview. Like, you have to go back and listen. It's just that exact what you just described, like crazy.
Yeah.
Because it is. It's a feeling of, I said something like, I feel like I'm going to lose it if I refocus my attention on something else, and then it's going to be off in the ether.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
And so,
and we can say it's not really gone. It's there. The energy is still there.
Yes.
But in the moment, you're not accessing. You can't access it right away necessarily.
Yes. And you know what, just, I thought of when you just said it's not really gone. I think I told you that story about Isaac, and I think I posted it on my, I guess it would have been my business page, my Enneagram Connection business page, on one of my posts. But, that story about him and we were wanting him to like put his money away so that he didn't lose his money. And he just like looked at me and he goes, nothing's ever really lost. And I was like, oh, I know he didn't mean it like that, but of course, like what you just described is how I took it. And I was like, oh my God, that's like,
that's really cute. That's really sweet.
Yeah, it was. And then I thought of one more thing, because I know I had pulled up that picture and I don't know if I can link it, but do you want me to read that?
Yes, please do.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, well, and also kind of a sense of like playfulness. I think of like a more of a lighthearted feeling. Like sometimes, well, let me just nuance this for a really quick second, but like, I'm wondering if there are different degrees or different variations of a flow state, because I don't know that it always feels exactly the same, because sometimes, like, for instance, if I'm editing the podcast, I can feel a little like I'm focusing and I'm a little irritated, but I don't want to be pulled out of it. I'm still enjoying it. Like, but that's different than kind of what we were just describing, but they're kind of the same. But anyway, but in terms of like the lightness of it, that feels enjoyable to me. And so my word for this year is playfulness. And when we were on our girls' night for your birthday in Louisville, and we did these, like, I called it a card pull earlier, but was it a card? Oh, it was a card, but then she read from the book. That's what I have a picture of here. Took a picture of it just so I can keep it like front and center in my mind. But this idea of playfulness has been at the forefront of how I've tried to kind of encounter things in this year. So I'll read. Well, of course I pulled it and I got, it's the dolphin. Okay. So there's an animal attached to this playfulness. And there's 3 main bullet points, and then I'll read the paragraph. But, so bullet point 1 is finding the ancient wisdom in play. 2, feeling protected and powerful. And 3, cooperating and finding deeper connection with others. So dolphin is a magical and wise animal totem that reminds you to play. Dolphin holds a sense of ancient peace and harmony with all things. He is endlessly curious and brilliant. It is time to live peacefully within yourself and with others. It is time to find the wisdom and utter playfulness of spirit. Dolphin also symbolizes protection, cooperation, and inner power or strength. Let joy be your true north at this time. It will lovingly guide you to safer waters with brilliant light that dances on the surface. You are ready to be born anew into this type of consciousness in a spirit of cooperation and deep connection with others.
Oh, okay. I have so much to say. Okay.
Yeah,
so first of all, you used the word confidence earlier.
Yes, with the, yeah.
And that is one of the brilliant things about being in flow, because you're separated from the chatter.
Yes.
And so you absolutely do feel confident. Okay.
Yes.
But also the connection with others and stuff. So I'm thinking of your Enneagram group that you have. So I would like to invite you to talk about that if you wish. But I just wanted to say, when you told me about it, this concept of playfulness very specifically ties in because you were like, I just had this idea and I just put it out and I just went with it.
Exactly.
And you didn't spin on it.
Overthink it.
Yes, like you did not overthink it. It didn't seem like you were like asking people for their advice or for their recommendations or anything like that, other than just like, what are the logistics or whatever.
Sure.
But you were like, this is my idea. I'm going to do it.
Yes,
exactly. And you just did it. You just put it out.
Yeah. Yeah, that felt really good. And you're exactly right. Because I'd had the thought for a while, right? I'd had that inspiration. And what I haven't actually don't know the answer to this. I don't know. I didn't have a sense of urgency about it. So sometimes with me, if I get an idea, I really want to try to quote unquote figure it out. I want to learn how to make it work. How can I make this work? I want to make this happen. And in this instance, like I kept kind of thinking of it, but it didn't feel like it was pulling all of my attention. I felt like, well, it wasn't a conscious thing. I wasn't like, I'm going to just wait and I know when the timing is right.
Yeah.
But that is kind of what happened. And I'd been thinking about this for a while and felt this inspiration, just put it out. And the people who responded, I was just like, in the way it felt like perfect timing. You know what I mean? It just felt so, again, another synchronicity. So yeah, it's been so awesome. I mean, we've only had one meeting together so far. But I guess what I'm getting at is like, typically I have an idea like this. I think this is so awesome. But you know what I should probably do first is I need to figure out exactly how it's going to happen. I need to figure out a plan. I need to roll out this plan. I need to say, here's what it's going to be. Give all the details up front. So I need to sit there and think about how should I do on and on. I could overthink things, but I just knew like, this is something I want to do. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like. And people even kept asking me like, but like, what's your vision for it? And I was like, I have a vision for it, but I think here's something else that came to me. And I don't know if I've talked to you about this yet or not. I was talking to somebody about it. Anyway, but the idea of I will get like visions about things or how I want things to be. And that's a good thing, right? I think it is a good thing to have a directionality and to have like a vision for how you want something to go. But something that can happen for me is a little bit of an idealist. Maybe this is the one fix, right? But really having to be careful of not putting too much expectation. With that vision.
You can't be attached to the outcome.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Which is so hard because when I have a vision and I feel so inspired and I'm like, yes, I want this, like, this is a desire of my heart. Like, then it can feel like it does come with a little bit of an expectation. And if it doesn't meet that expectation, I'll be let down. So I think in this case, what I'm getting at is I had a bit of a vision, but the reason I did not want to nail down too many details is because I just knew I needed to meet with people first. I was like, because I think there was a little bit of a discrepancy between, I don't know if it would be like my head and my heart or what exactly it would be, but like, well, it could be this. It could be a group that is open to more people. You drop in, you come in when you can't, blah, blah, blah. But I knew that what I was really craving was like a small group of like-minded people where we could really like get in on this like Enneagram stuff and really like exchange ideas and like help each other, like whatever. It's like, this will unfold more and I'll have more to say about this as it goes on. But all that to say, that's like, anyway, but I didn't want to put that expectation on it. I wanted to be open to the group. And that's kind of how I do things. Like, I don't even want to think of myself as I know I got this started, but I don't want to think of myself as the leader of this group. I really want to be a participant. I want to be like, okay, I'm hosting the Zoom room, but I want us to, I want to be able to share too. I want us to all just be here.
Yeah. And you don't want to be just like the moderator.
Yeah.
per
And I know
se.
that I'm going to have to facilitate maybe a
Sure.
little because I've got
Sure.
control of like the Zoom and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But yeah, so, and it was great. And I'm glad now that I waited because that was kind of what I was sensing from the group as well. And it could
Yeah.
shift and I'm okay with that. And so that feels good.
Yeah.
That feels good that it might look a little different in a few months.
Right. Yes.
So
Yeah. Yeah. It's so hard to, I mean, I'm just coming back to that idea of the like non-attachment, that's
yes.
so difficult, but
It is.
just like following that intuition of, even if it's not really super conscious, but like I have this idea, even unconsciously, it's not time to do anything with it yet. And then when the time comes,
yeah.
and you have, like
Yeah.
you just felt that and you just went with it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because I'm like, I'm sure different people would call that different things. Some would call that intuition and some would call, I don't know, like what I feel like you could look at that from a lot of different.
You could, but I think that was your intuition. That was just your instinct to like, but maybe I'm projecting too, because I do have these, I'll have these ideas or, whatever. And then I'm like, why am I not doing anything with this? Why am I not doing anything with this? But I know the answer is like, because it doesn't feel right at the moment. It's not exactly that it feels wrong, but it would be pushing too much. And when you're pushing, nope, it's not going to work out,
Exactly.
So,
yeah, I had that conversation too. Did I tell you about that with,
I don't think so.
God, I hate even bringing up therapy. It's like, they were like, how often do you go? Every day, lady? You probably need it. No, it's not that often, people. Anyway, but it's just interesting because I had this conversation about the intuition. And
maybe you did tell me about that. Yeah, you did. You did.
It was related to that other program and
trying
to decide if I should talk about that or not. But I'm not sure how relevant it is. I mean, it's relevant
maybe relevant.
Well, I guess I can nutshell it as much as I can nutshell something.
Well, how often do you shell nuts, Emma?
Oh God, I could say more about that. I'm just gonna getting red. So yeah, but anyway, but yeah, so essentially there's a program for entrepreneurs here through the local university, college, whatever, kind of anyway, that they're running. And it was a 10-week thing on Wednesday nights. And when I was introduced to this idea, you and I both were, right? Like last summer, last fall, something like that.
Yeah,
and
long time ago.
We're totally going to do this. And then of course you were moving and I thought we would do it together and blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, this will be great. Well, the way that the timing worked, I just, between focusing on my business and, trying to kind of I don't know, I was just having more inspiration there as well as the fact that you were moving. Right. And I was really like emotionally overwhelmed. And so when the first meeting was starting to roll around, I just had this intense resistance. But because I know I have that emotional wave in human design, which we've talked about, I don't want to be totally down, like, oh, I'm feeling terrible, blah. So I'm just not going to do it. Like I need to wait to kind of come back to neutral before I make a decision, which can be inconvenient when it's like, you need to fucking decide because this thing is starting. Right.
Right.
But I was like, I do just need to give it a few days and then you had moved. And then like the day after you moved, I was feeling a little more like neutral about the program. And so I was like, I had been encouraged to come by the people who led it. Please just come, just try it out. And so I was like, you know what? If they're saying just try it out and I don't have to commit for the 10 weeks, I'll go. So I go and it was great. Like I could see the value in it. Great program. But after I'd been to a couple sessions, it just did not feel aligned. Even though the program's great, it didn't feel aligned for me. And I was resisting it though. So when in therapy, I was talking it out and I say all this stuff and this is what, my therapist does. I'll just verbally process the shit out of something. And I'm saying the same thing she says, but she'll just go boop and like cut to the chase and like just tell me in a couple sentences. Right. And she'll go, well, you are not listening to your intuition again, which sounds to me like it's pretty strong, which is that you don't want to do it. It's not aligned for you right now. But then the people pleasing comes in and you're going, but these people will be disappointed in me. I told them I would try it. What are they going to think? Blah, blah, blah. What if I miss out on an opportunity? Maybe I should keep going. And then we went into this whole thing about how I really hate quitting things.
Yeah.
And that's like anyway, I won't go into all that stuff about my past, but yeah. So anyway, she was right. And we talked a little bit about intuition, and she, something else she brought up that I didn't say to you, and I'd be curious to get your thoughts on this as somebody who went through coach training. She said, actually, as women or females, like we tend to have a stronger intuition than males. And I can't remember why this came up, but like, she said, like, there will be times where, how did she say it? She was like, I'll say, well, here's what we need to do to my husband. And he'll go, well, why do you think that? Or why do you blah, blah, blah? Or why do you whatever? And she's like, I just know. And she's like, at this point, I know how it feels in my body.
Yeah.
And she's like, and it might be different for you. It's going to be different for everybody. For me, it is deep in my gut, like right below my belly button. And it's just like a sensation. And I just know. And she was like, so the more you really listen to that and you start to be true to that, the louder it will get. Like the more you will, you know what I mean? It'll be, it's like you're building a muscle.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Which is really interesting. And that takes me back to human design, which is why it would be really important to know what your human design is. So you know what your intuition is for you, because that's so
true.
Yeah. Because that's very individual. That's going to be different for different people.
So maybe she's like a generator.
She's probably a generator. Probably so. Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Yep. You're right.
Yep.
Because yours is, you're the no. Yeah, you're a projector. So,
but I'm a splenic projector. So that means it's just like a yes or more often it's no. So the yes is going to be a little bit more quiet. It's just going to be like, I know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's easy to ignore because it's so just like quiet.
Gentle. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. No's are a lot.
Oh, that's so, you know what? It's so funny
for me. That's how I would describe it.
Yes. You've talked about that before. Just that wall.
Yeah.
When you said that, it's so funny because I always call that, the decision making.
Yeah.
But it is like I don't know. I had not equated the intuition and the decision making.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. That's what, human design is so good at showing us. So it sounds like she's probably a generator and she's getting that, or that,
sacral, right? This
sacral. Yep. That sacral response. Exactly. But yeah, that can be different for different people. It just depends on what your authority is. And that's interesting. The statement about that she made to you about it being stronger for women than men. And I feel like that's not true.
I wish I'd probed her a little more. Like, I wish I'd said, I guess what I want to say is that based on her experience as a therapist,
right? And
seeing this, or is it based on like, maybe she's read something that's like, and I do feel like, how do I want to say it? It just came to me. I don't know if this is true, but like, maybe it's not like if you're a man or a woman, but maybe it has to do more with that feminine energy, which can be present.
I think it's awareness. I think it's just awareness, right?
Yeah. There's feminine and masculine energy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And everybody has both.
Sure.
Right. And so I do think there's a feminine energy, which is probably more intuitive, but men have that too.
Sure. Absolutely. I think it's just a matter of being aware, being in tune, and just paying attention to like, where am I getting this information? Am I just like making this conscious choice, or do I just know the answer and I'm willing to go with whatever that is, whatever that wisdom is, even if I can't back it up with data?
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. And I think for me, sometimes it's like, even if I know the answer, I don't necessarily need a rationale, like a logical bring in. I mean, I like to do that because how I am.
Sure.
But what I'm getting at, like specifically like with this group, right? Like I had that, felt like the right time. I wanted to do it. But I think what holds me back is not necessarily like, but now I need to analyze, is this the right thing? It's like I've already made the decision.
Yeah.
But what comes in is, but if I just say, all right, you know what, I'm just going to put it out, then it's like, do I have the time? Like if people are like, yeah, then I'm like, well, shit, I literally have to, now I got to do some shit, which I did, but it ended up working out because I was so inspired, and it didn't take me, as long as I would have expected, because I was just like, I don't know.
Yeah. And that's just, I mean, it sounds to me like you just knew and you listened to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and that's how you know when something is right, when it just kind of comes together and you're not like tugging, you're not pushing, you're not whatever. When things just come together, like, it's like, it's just this beautiful reassurance of, and but that's also information, right? So like, it is a data point that you have for the future. This is how it felt. And I can see that it was aligned. And so it's easier to pay attention next time. Like, oh, this is right, whatever. And so I'm just going to act on it.
Yeah. And you know what's okay. Now something else just came to me too. And I've never thought about this before either. I love when this happens. But so as sixes, I think we can have a very strong intuition. And I think, it's maybe different than how some people would conceptualize intuition, but like just having that, it is an awareness. It is just like constantly, and it's just, it happens, but there's something going on in the background. But anyway, what I was going to say was, where we have that line to 9, I wonder if it's almost like us tapping into that line to 9, right?
Yeah.
And understanding like, because that's how, like, nines are like, well, I mean, it just kind of happened. It kind of just like, blah, blah, and I'm like, what you gotta like make it, and that's sort of, that's that 6-3, like sort of riding that line, but then like ride the line 6-9. I don't know. That's something with that, like just sort of came to me as far as like,
Yeah. Which in general, I have, I mean, not so much lately, but I was thinking about, this is kind of off topic, the line, because it's 9 is the health, right?
Yeah. Or
you're moving to 9 in health, whatever development,
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, totally. And and I yes, a lot of people would say you move to 9 in health, and I think on some level that can be accurate. I kind of view the lines a little bit differently, just more energetic lines, because I think I can see where I kind of can go to the lower side of 9 sometimes. And it's more like, I'm going to check out, like,
yes,
but
it's right. It doesn't necessarily mean you're moving to a healthy, quote, 9.
Yes. But I will, so I like I don't remember who usually, I don't know what teacher usually refers to it this way, but something about, for me, it makes a lot of sense in my life to view that line to 9 as when I'm in security, when I'm secure.
Yeah.
Like when I feel held, right? So when I feel held and secure and solid, right? I think I can bring in some of that.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
So anyway, that's how I think about it. But I have, over the last 6 years or however long it's been, like, that's an ever evolving concept, the lines for me, but there's definitely something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was thinking about the connections to the numbers, you know what I mean? But also first of all, there's the bigger concept of like, what does healthy look like?
100%.
What is health?
I made a post about that too. I was kind of preaching a little, but it's fine.
But yeah, like that's a bigger concept, but also like on an individual level, what does healthy look like?
Totally. Yeah. It's different for everybody. Cause
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Like, well, I mean, people can read the post, but it's essentially like, if we say as a society, oh, healthy looks like I'm higher functioning, I'm doing more stuff, I'm whatever. And like, let's say you are a 6, a little worker bee, or let's say you are a 3 and it's all about doing, and that's your whole, like, you're running your pattern. You're like, oh, I'm killing it. Right. But that's not what healthy is for a 3. A healthy is actually relaxing into, I don't have to do my personality so much. Right. So yeah, it's anyway, I have a whole thing on that. Or people say, oh gosh, like, we might look to 9s and say like, oh gosh, they're just so relaxed. They're so healthy. Like they just seem so whatever. Cause that's like what we would like to be. We aspire to be, but it's like, I don't know, just there's something about it feels so big because it's like there's something about society and how everything is set up.
Right. But like at the 9s that you're looking to, are they healthy?
Right.
Also?
Exactly.
Maybe like you don't know.
Right. Exactly. No, just because you're chill, it's like, okay, well, but their journey is like, I need to step more into my power. Right.
Yeah.
I need
right.
to be able to become a person. I need to
like
solidify.
Because like chill can just mean checked out, which is not healthy. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's a big topic too, for sure.
So. Right.
Anyway,
how do we get there? I'm not really sure. I was just, I don't know. Well, you mentioned I don't know.
I don't know either. Sorry.
This is what happens. No, it's fine. It's good.
Yeah.
Feels good. We're in our zone.
We are in our zone.
The no tangent zone, peeing in the groin and burning the loins. I haven't had time to work on that design yet, but there will be a shirt forthcoming.
Oh, I love when things are forthcoming.
This is where like I have so many ideas. We could have an endless supply. We could easily set up a no tangents, like Shopify.
Oh my God.
If people would buy our shit.
Yeah, exactly. Cause we have ping in the groin, burn in the loin.
Yep.
We have just our basic, there are no tangents. We have, it's all about the tangent.
That's right. Thumbs down.
Might have been one more. I don't know, but yeah. So
yeah, I have a lot. Oh, this would be a good outlet for my enamel pin obsession. Like I never have ordered my pins that I already designed.
Yeah.
I need to do that, but a no tangent enamel pin, that would look great on us and everyone else.
Yes, absolutely.
Patches. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Bumper stickers. I'm thrilled that we have chatted for so long. Do you have anything else?
No, I don't think so. Not at the moment, other than this is really good. Like this always comes together. Speaking of things just aligning.
Exactly. It does.
It's because we're really good at just like, oh, I'm going to take this thought somewhere else.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we can just keep it going.
I know. We're highly brilliant.
We really are.
I feel like people should absolutely appreciate that. Email us, DM us, express how much you covet us, please.
Yes.
But actually, seriously, just doing another little quickie plug, like, please, if you have not already subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to our YouTube channel, rate and review.
We're really great on YouTube.
We are. We're pretty fantastic.
We're really great.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, and email us. We do. Well, at least I've been seeing our email more regularly now. And I would like to see.
It's flooded, isn't it?
A more flooded inbox.
I think it's really full. We're going to have to start another Gmail because it's so full.
You weren't going with that the way I thought you were going to go with it. Flooded inbox. Come on, Emma. Like,
I missed my opportunity. Darn. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah.
It's okay. You were being earnest. You were like,
I didn't get my head in the gutter. Usually my head's in the gutter. Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's okay. We would like more emails.
Yeah, please.
It's just because like we need that hit. We need to feel highly coveted and adored.
This is the juice that keeps us running.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. Fill it up. Stick your pump in our gas tank.
That's right. We really need it. Really need it.
I feel like that I redeemed myself with that.
You did.
comment.
You did. Thank you.
I'm glad you're satisfied.
Oh, to completion. To completion.
Glad we're back, everyone.
Is that complete?
Is that complete? I think we're complete. Anyway, this was fab.
It was fab.
Okay, cool. All right.
Okay,
Everyone.
great. That's fine.
All right. Well, I love you, Lisa.
I love you. It has
And
been thrilling to be in your presence. I mean that sincerely.
thank you. I know. Same to you. All right, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Adios.
Hey, let's get it.
Thanks for hanging with us through today's tangents. We hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back again soon, but meanwhile, you can follow along with us on Instagram at No Tangents. We would love it if you would subscribe and maybe even consider leaving us a review, a highly complimentary one.
No topic, keep it going, no, don't stop it. Don't get the picture, then we crap it. With no emotion, what's the logic? We just lost in our thoughts.